I picked the wrong one. Anyways, everybody, welcome back to another video. E3 is done. I am tired. I made it. We streamed for 3 straight whole days. We took some breaks, but it was pretty much just streaming. And those videos will be coming out soon. Don't worry. You will be able to see all the videos, all the streams, all the banter, in its full glory. But if you want to see them right now, I might do this just for a bit. If you want to see them right at this moment, go over to Twitch right now. I'm streaming them still. There are even video clips that you can check out before they're gone. For a while at least, before I upload them to YouTube and then re-upload them to Twitch. Yeah. So let's get into it. And this whole video is just going to be my thoughts about, what I think of certain press conferences, what I think of, just what I was thinking of when I watched these. And let's get into the first one. Or actually, hold on, before we do that, I'll give you guys some more information because I know you love that. I'm doing this by myself because the guys aren't on. Also, I feel like I don't know, I feel like we wouldn't be able to talk about it in the way of, I don't know, like in a sort of like podcasty way. So I'm just giving my own thoughts about it, my thoughts of the whole thing. And so let's jump right in. So the first one that we have is EA, and it was terrible. It was probably the worst one. I have a list on Twitter that Matt's pointed out to me today. If I can go over to it for just a bit here. No, I just want to go to my Twitter. Yeah, so my least favorite one, EA being my least favorite one, and it was just gosh darn terrible. I was there for like the pre-show that they had set up where they had the 2 people. And they were talking about how Madden is now on the phone, and they're trying to get more into mobile gaming, which honestly I feel like is still a useless market, to be honest with you. I still don't get why people want to make mobile gaming a huge thing. Yeah. Now, we won't be able to talk about all the conferences, just the main ones. So, say like Tiny Build or Devolver. Out of the 2 joke ones that were Tiny Build and Devolver, I enjoyed Devolver a lot more than Tiny Builds. Tiny Builds was very more YouTube-ish, I guess, by making a parody sort of song and, making jokes out of that. I enjoyed Devolver's just blatant, like, jokes and making fun of EA. Or not EA, but just press conferences in general. But yeah, so then they talked about sports, and then this happened.
He's like, oh! Now we're going to talk about.
I love that bit. Anyways, yeah, so they talked about FIFA, and then they went over and talked about this whole thing that they're doing, which is the 100 games, 100 hours, 100 streamers, which I never got it. It seemed like a stupid concept. Again, EA was probably the worst one out of all of them. Then you went to the Sims booth, and there was barely anyone there. And the fact that they even had the Sims there, like, I don't understand, like, why they made such a big deal of the Sims and their expansion, which is Seasons. And the guy that was there was like, oh, seasons. How do you think it's gonna affect the gameplay? It's like, what do you think? It's seasons. Seasons. It's just you get summer, winter, fall, and spring. Like, what does it matter? I mean, sure, it will change a few things, but it's not that big a deal. And the fact that there were like people even going over there to try The Sims, like, there are so many better games to try. Sims is not one of them. You don't go to E3 to just try out a game where you have to spend like an hour making your character. I don't understand. But yeah, then they talked about The Sims, which I wasn't really interested in. Let's see, I'm trying to find out all the pieces. It's a bit laggy for me. Because I'm currently uploading a game, or not uploading, downloading a game right now. Here, I'll just pause it real quick. But yeah, so they talked about Sims seasons, and then they have like some recruitment program that I doubt anyone will really care about. And then they had like a really like they had a guy that looked like I can't remember his name, but he looks like what is his name? Ryan Gosling. He looked like Ryan Gosling if he worked on games. And then they were like talking about how, look, there's like a bunch of like real racing games and like food and like just useless stuff that no one wants to, do. And then they got in the conference, which, again, like I will say, EA was probably the worst one out of all of them. Like, some people will like make the excuse of like, oh, well, EA last year was alright, or the years before that. But honestly, it was just gosh darn terrible. And it, let's try and get it. And then they started having hosting things, and then they got into Battlefield, which I don't mind Battlefield. I actually wanted to try and get into Battlefield at some point. It seems like a fun game. The people that are saying like, oh, it's a big deal that they have like, women in World War II because women didn't serve or something like that. I'm like, I don't really care that much at this point. Like, somewhere someone will point out that that's not a real thing, but it's like, it's just a game. It has nothing to do with, it's not like a movie or like any historical real events. It's just a game. Some of the mechanics actually look pretty cool. The fact that like tanks can like attach like turrets and there's more destruction and such like that. And I thought that was actually pretty cool. The Battlefield was probably like the only game I'd imagine like I would myself like liking and sort of getting into. Not to say that the indie games were not, the indie games were actually pretty good. There's nothing wrong with the indie games. They were pretty interesting and cool. But we'll get to that in a second. And then this bit, right, at the Battlefield, like, conference came up.
Just the tip of the iceberg in Battlefield 5. You're going to see a lot more of our new gameplay systems here at EA Play from our community.
Wow.
So, let's talk about our single player in War Stories.
Okay. Yes, let's do that.
Oh yeah, then the single player, which I really don't. It looks interesting, seems alright, but I don't think single player is a huge thing. To really any shooter games, like the two big ones that everybody knows, that being Call of Duty and Battlefield. I feel like a lot of people just do not care about the story at this point. The only story that they really do care about is, say, like zombies, from Call of Duty, and like everybody on this panel just seems so. And then the bit that I was actually talking about came up.
Tomorrow. So,
what about
launching
today?
October is just the beginning. You will all go on an expanding journey through the Second World War. No loot boxes, no premium pass.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that.
Every day, will bring something new. And as part of that journey, after launch, you'll get something I know a lot of you have been asking for.
A battle pass.
It's Royale.
No!
Royale reimagined.
At this point, you probably could not hear from the amount of screaming and, you know, me being sad that they had added that. So we're gonna just EA press conference. We're just gonna do this for you. We're just gonna, hopefully I can do this seamlessly. Skip. Oh, Jesus. Where was it? Where is 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 it? It was... There we go. So, I want you just to hear very carefully of the room.
It's Royale. It's Royale.
You can hear the amount of booing and sadness in that room. The fact that they had released a Battle Royale mode. And, yeah, I don't know what to say. That was probably one of the biggest fails. One of the biggest fails that they did there. And ever since they did that, it was just a huge downhill spiral. And just, they immediately left the room because they knew that they had failed and screwed up. Also, they came up with a new word, in-game, or like, what, engine footage? In-engine footage is the new term. And they barely showed any gameplay, which was kind of sad. And you know, the thing too is that like it's becoming more and more a thing of like you have to go to E3 to play the games, to experience gameplay. And frankly, that matter to me seems kind of stupid nowadays. I feel like a game company, publisher, game developer, whoever, should release a video showing gameplay elements, like genuine gameplay elements. Not even, you know, just like a small level. You know, a small level is fine. Not just like clips chopped up. Just like a full-on one level. You know, it has to be like maybe a demo level or nothing to do with the game. Just something that shows the main gameplay elements. You know what I mean? Like showing what you're going to see, what you're going to get. And I think that would have been a better, just honestly, a better version of games. Because this whole, you had to pay for plane tickets, hotels, everything just to go to E3 and maybe play the games. Like, just that maybe is what makes it terrible. And so I feel like EA really failed in that. They also really went heavy on FIFA, which is something that nobody cares about. And then they had two people on stage being like waiting for applause, like waiting for audience applause. And you're not really gonna get any, because yes, there were some people who were excited for the Royale mode, but a lot of the people in the room were very disappointed, I imagine. And I mean, you can clearly hear it. Anyways, just the whole FIFA thing is just, I'm tired of sports games. I'm just tired of it because they release it every damn year. Release it every damn year. And it's just terrible at this point. Like, the thought that, you know, people actually, you know, I'm fine with like some, you know, the idea of sports games is not the bad idea. It's not the bad concept here. You know, that's not what I'm mad about. I'm just mad that it's the same crap every year. Nothing's changed. They either get rid of a few modes or add in a mode that no one's going to play. That's all EA ever does in terms of Madden or FIFA or any of the sports games that they release, which always seems to be Madden and FIFA. Moving on from that, let's see what else. And then they had the guy that was like talking about how you can play many games on many things, and then there was Origin Prime, a new service that they're releasing, Origin Prime, and yeah, there's only one reason why I have Origin. It's mainly just to run like certain games, and that's about it. Would I still buy games from EA, like their main games? Probably not, but, you know, such as like Battlefield, I probably will, but you know what I mean. But even then, it's like a lot of the indie titles that are getting released, kind of getting screwed over at this point, only getting released on Origin in terms of PC. I'm pretty sure Unravel 2. Where is it? Unravel 2. Hold on. Unravel Microsoft Windows. I don't know if it's on Steam. It doesn't seem to be. That's the crappy part about this, is that all these indie games that look great, honestly, that look fantastic, that actually have some passion into them, is just, you know, only Origin exclusive. So for people that are used to Steam or say Uplay or many other types of games, they have to download another service just to play games that look pretty good and deserve to be on Steam, are now forced to just only stay on Origin due to the fact that they're indie, and that's about it. I mean, you know, the sad part is that, you know, I imagine EA does the funding, but the catch is that, you know, it's only part of Origin. It's only an Origin exclusive to PC. And that's one of the sad bits, is because a lot of these games, I imagine, could do better if they were on better platforms. If they were on, say, Steam, or just on any other platforms. And then they released this whole like little Star Wars bit that I just don't. I'm excited about, but I also don't care about, because there's a lot of problems with it. And then here came Battlefront, which is a game series that has been very close to me. It was one of the first games I had ever played, and you know, I really want to play it. Hold on, I'm gonna drink some water so I don't voice crack as much. So anyways, it doesn't look like a terrible game. I do like how they're getting rid of some stuff, adding some stuff, you know. I like how they're trying to make it a better game. That, I'll give them that. I like how they're trying to make it a better game, but still, it's a terrible press conference. And then they have Unravel, and really, I don't really like to count the indie games as part of EA's, you know, sadistic marketing, or, you know, whatever that they do. But it honestly looked like a pretty good game, solid co-op. Not my type of game. I'm not really into puzzles that much, but it looks like a pretty fun game. I will admit that. The only downside to Unravel 2, which a lot of people are saying got a bad presentation. I don't know how, but it honestly seemed like a fun. Honestly, it seemed like a fun game. The downside of it is that it was released on its reveal, and that's not good, really. One of the main problems with releasing a game, look, it's one thing to release a game that maybe a new IP, or, you know, if you're a smaller company, or, you know, something like that on Steam. Like, say if Hotline Miami was not part of Devolver and didn't have any marketing towards it and was just dropped on Steam. Hopefully some people would find a good game and pick it up. But for instance, because Unravel has a fan base and people backing it, and then when it's like, oh, they made a second one, how cool, I can't wait when this is released, and then it's released that day. Now, that doesn't say it's a bad thing, but you lose a lot of the hype that would gotten a lot of people traction, gotten a lot of people talking about it, news, or, you know, coverage over it. And that was one of the many problems that they had. I think if they had done it where it was going to be released at the end of E3, that would have gained some more traction, gained some more people interested in it, but it's sad. But it was a very good presentation. I enjoyed it. It was a very cute game. I think it's going to do very well. Not in terms of like, I don't think it will be talked about as much, but I think it's going to be a solid co-op game that people could play and enjoy. And we're talking about other indie games like A Way Out, how it did very well for them. And then they found this other company who seems pretty interesting. Foreign. Nothing wrong with being foreign. It was just very... It was, it's just they don't speak English very well. I mean, the presenter was actually very good at English, but there was just some things that, hiccups here and there, but it was fine. But just the presentation on this game, Sea of Solitude, is such an amazing premise and idea. Even though a lot of people would assume that I am a huge fan of shooters. I'm very vocal about enjoying shooter games such as Doom, Hotline Miami, Payday, Fallout, many other games, Killing Floor, games like that. But I do enjoy a game where you could just explore. There's not any violence or gunplay, none of that. I like games where you can explore the world because that's when a lot of gaming is an art piece. Now, not to say that games aren't art, they are in their own way. But I enjoy it when a lot of games do that, where it's about exploring, immersing yourself in the world, getting creative, getting inspired, seeing the level of detail and just beautiful art that goes into it. And Sea of Solitude is one of those games that I think it will do very well. I don't see it as a... I should have mentioned this because I remember some people used to do this. But I don't see it as a YouTube type of game. I see it more as a streaming or solo game. Because it seems very personal. And I don't think it's I don't know if it's going to get a lot of YouTube or stream. I think it will be more into the streaming market rather than YouTube's, episode market. I think it'll be stronger in streaming than anything else. But it is the way that the presenter told everybody about the game. I was very excited. I found this a very beautiful and interesting game, very philosophical, and it's just a beautiful game, and I can't wait for it. And then came NBA and a bunch of the stupid, esports of Madden and everything about this player who just got the belt, and they're making fun of each other. I don't care. So they're talking more about football, and then they get into a random shoutcast, and yeah, and then a few people that I know. In Control is the only person that I knew on there, and then the other guy, which I don't, he looked weird, but I know In Control, very popular StarCraft player, and I hope he was paid a lot of money for this. But this game over here was Command and Conquer, a very famous RTS series, and they're making a mobile game out of it. Now, it's pretty sad to know that they're making a mobile game out of it, because I still don't see the appeal of mobile gaming. I feel like mobile gaming is one of those, I feel like mobile gaming shouldn't be like shooters or RTS games or many other things. I think it should be more social games, like a Cards Against Humanity or like a Secret Hitler. games like that. I feel like a lot of games like that would do better on the phone market than just RTS games and stuff like that. But I know a lot of people were disappointed that a good RTS game got the mobile treatment, and then they had a trailer for it, and then at the end of the event they had Anthem. Now Anthem is probably the game that everybody is excited for. When I watch this trailer or the gameplay or whatever, just any bits and pieces from it, it seems just like Halo and Destiny. It has that like open world kind of vibe to it, and that sort of Destiny style, but also that Halo feel. It has many feels to it, and I'm not really too excited for it. Honestly, it doesn't seem like a game that I personally would invest a lot of time into. And I mean, graphically it looks beautiful, but it just does not seem like a game that I could get into. Now, what they did show was a lot of concept art, a lot of talking. They did show some rendering, mainly just in-game engine. But in terms of gameplay, it came at the end, which I would rather have it if maybe they could get people a part of the audience or just something like that, a part of it. But that was about it. That's all they did was just show some gameplay that seemed okay, but I wasn't really interested in. But if anything, I think the highlight of that evening was probably the two indie games. But I think the main one was probably Anthem for a lot of people. But if I had to pick one game from the conference, I would have to pick. If it wasn't for the indie games, I'd pick Battlefield. If it was for the indie games, I'd probably pick Sea of Solitude. But that was it for that one. That was the first day. Very disappointing first day. It got me really just not interested in the event or anything like that. After that, Tiny Build did a little thing. It was okay. Wasn't really. It was supposed to be that sort of Devolver style of like, oh, let's make fun of games and everything. And they did that, and there were a few jokes in there that I was like, okay, that's not bad. That's kind of funny. But for the most part, the music video or song kind of style was really just not my thing, honestly. No. But we go into day 2 here, excluding that whole Tiny Build thing. They had this E3 check-in thing, and it was sponsored by Tortino's Pizza Rolls, which I like to make fun of because I can't say it right. But they had this E3 check-in, which had this guy, which I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure, he's invested in games, hopefully. I hope that he's happy about being a part of games. But trying to control Twitch chat was probably one of the worst ways they could have done this. Yes, Twitch chat is, a great way to build a community and, ask for opinions. But you have to understand, E3 streaming on Twitch is not for building communities. It is for mocking. It is for jokes. It is for making fun of what's coming out, and that's about it. So then they started talking about stuff, and before that they talked about the Tiny Build press conference, and how they're excited that a lot of indie publishers or developers or whatever are going to make more conferences. And well, yes, this is a cool idea, and honestly, I think it'd be interesting to market games more for like indie publishers or indie developers. The main problem is that I don't see it lasting in the long run, or it will be oversaturated with a bunch of indie developers or indie publishers mainly. The only reason why Devolver works is because they're one of the more popular indie publishers. I mean, they publish a lot of good games. They publish Hollow Memi, Not a Hero, Shadow Warrior, Ruiner, Enter the Gungeon, like many popular indie games right now. And it made sense for them to have a press conference. Now, last year, of course, we all know that they made fun of press conferences, and it was a gag, and it was, lol, and I honestly enjoyed it. I enjoy when Devolver does press conferences. I think it's funny, and I like when we could all laugh at the fact that, press conferences are entirely just stupid. Like, they're just, like, they're fun sometimes, but they have a lot of cringy moments and just a lot of stuff that really seems too, too businessy, too, oh, this is hip with the kids, oriented. And, I wouldn't imagine a lot of people were happy about that. Now, moving on from that, we had the Microsoft conference. Now, if anybody watched the stream, we were having some issues because Universe was 1 minute behind, and I didn't know he was going to show up, so there was many issues in that. But overall, I actually enjoyed the Microsoft conference. I think it was one of the more better conferences, and the problem is that it was really not much to be better than EA's terrible conference. Now, Microsoft went in the opposite direction. Last year, they showed they don't show a lot of gameplay. They showed mainly their main titles or just skip through stuff. This year they showed, they mainly are tech people at heart. They're mainly the tech oriented conference, not really into indie games. This year they were a bit more into indie games, but not too much that changed my mind. I still enjoyed the Microsoft conference, as we can see here. The first little trailer was Halo Infinity. A lot of people are excited for Halo. Hold on, I'm just going to play the live reaction here. New Tomb Raider. There's a radio.
Oh yeah, new Tomb Raider. That's right.
It's probably a new Tomb Raider. Wait, that's a rhino.
No, Tomb Raider what? No.
Oh.
Remember that, games of, I think it was the Game Awards, people were in no, it's not. Forget it.
Yeah. Alright, we see the ocean now.
We have two horned rhinos.
Oh, there's some people. Oh,
There's a
oh.
cat.
Oh, that's not good.
We're playing.
There's a ring.
There's a submarine.
Oh, so I'm gonna bet this is Halo. This is Halo. That was Halo.
It's your boy Master Chief. Cat.
Is it a remake? Now here's the question: is it a remake or a reboot?
I hope it's a remake. They're Target.
As you can see, we were you understand the problems that we were having. I was spoiling things for Universe. There were many problems with. It was just not planned very well. I will say that. We could have planned that one at least a bit better. But many people were excited for the new Halo game. Personally, I'm not a big Halo fan, but I understand that for a lot of people, Halo was a very big game for them, and you know what? I will respect that. I understand. But personally, for me, it just seemed like, oh, another Halo game. That's cool, I guess. The conference went mad when they showed Halo as their first game. Now, of course, they didn't show any gameplay, or at least sustainable gameplay. They showed clips of in-game, driving, and a few rendered cutscenes that most likely will not make it into the game and are probably just for the trailer. But it was honestly a good, well-crafted trailer. Not as much as Sony's trailer, which we'll get to in a bit. Matt said that it's actually going to be a sequel to Reach. Now, I heard a lot of people did not like Reach. I did play Reach, and I actually enjoyed Reach because it was more of a spin-off. It had nothing to do with the main series, and seemed honestly like a lot more fun, personally to me. So then they were moving on. They went to one of the indie sort of games. Ori 2 looks very adorable. I think looks very well made, well crafted. Now, the main problem with the Xbox conference was the fact that rarely gameplay was shown, and the gameplay that they did show was either boring or not enough of it, which was probably one of my least favorite things about the Xbox conference. But they did release a lot of titles that a lot of people are going to be excited for, and I think that's a good thing, is people getting excited. The next one was From Software. This was a game that was announced at the Game Awards. Now, not a lot of people, including me, knew From Software. Apparently, they've been actually a very famous company for a while at least, and this was their new game. Very samurai-ish. Looked very Dark Souls-y, though I can be wrong about that. It looks interesting to say the least. And then the next one that they showed was graphically it looked very well. I will say that graphically it looked very well. Moving on from that, we had a little tease from Todd Howard. He finally showed up to E3 this year, and he showed off the new Fallout 76 trailer, which, if you don't know, Fallout 76 actually is one of my is my top game. I should be saying that. Sorry, I'm a bit off today. It's my top game that I'm most excited for, and we will be talking about that in the next few minutes here, because of course that was the next conference. But I put Microsoft at number 3. I enjoyed it very well. It was very much a step up from EA's press conference, though it did not satisfy everything that I wanted per se, but Sony and Bethesda pretty much did that for me. But yeah, they showed off a trailer that was very nice, looked very well made. Didn't tell you too much about the game, I will say that. They were very vague about it. They just let you know that this was before. Actually, they didn't say that. We'll get to that in a second. It was just mainly showing in-game footage, not gameplay footage, I'll say that, but it was showing the world and, what it's going to be like, and it had Ron Perlman voiceover. Very, very nice, well-crafted trailer. I was very happy with it. I'm very excited to play this game. Moving on from that, we had the next game, which is Captain something. I can't remember the last name. It will appear in a bit. But this game comes from the guys from Life is Strange. It's in the same universe. And it doesn't really seem like the type of game for me. It seems too... it reminds me too much of like a child game. Not to say that's bad, but it seems very... It reminds me of like, kid games, or like kid material, I would say. Even though I imagine they would... deal with adult subjects, but point and click or sort of games like the Telltale series don't really interest me too much. I was kind of not a huge fan of a lot of Telltale's games, except for Poker Night and Sam and Max, but of course that's not their it's not theirs, that they bought those rights, so Anyways, looks very interesting. I wonder what it's going to be fully about. There seems to be some mother issues which will probably be explained within this story. If I can just get to the part where they tell me what the name of the game is again. Anytime now. It's alright, Captain Spirit. Again, not for me. 100% free, June 26th. So I don't know if it's like the whole game is free, but I guess we'll try it if it is. Moving on from that, the next thing that was shown was Crackdown 2. I've never played a Crackdown game, so I wouldn't know what it really is. It seems to be a futuristic kind of Saints Row, like a proper Saints Row sequel, like a Saints Row 5 in that aspect. Mainly because the Agents of Mayhem did not sell well. A lot of people were expecting another Saints Row, but it just did not sell to how they wanted. So I would imagine this is for more of the Saints Row type of people, for more of like the silly and like the, you know, outrageous type stuff. So looks very interesting. Oh, sorry, Crackdown 3 I meant to say, not Crackdown 2. My bad. The next game that was mentioned was Metro. I'm very excited for Metro. I think the Metro series looks pretty cool. I've only played a few minutes of the original one. Graphically, it looks pretty well made. It's basically Russian Fallout. At least that's what people say it is. There is a few differences, but it's supposed to feel, you know, like a post-apocalyptic, you know, and it seems very Fallout-esque, not full-on Fallout, but a lot of times people say, when is Fallout going to be in like Russia or different places? And everyone says, oh, well, you can just do that with, you know, Metro. And Metro is a I'm very excited for the new Metro game. Very excited. Moving on from that, we had, I think, what was it? We had Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, I know a lot of people are excited for Kingdom Hearts. Personally, I've only played Kingdom Hearts once in my life, and it was the tutorial, and I gave up halfway through. Kingdom Hearts is not a game that I'm really interested in. The first few moments of the game really did not do it for me when it became, you know, frozen. So I was very just not interested, and still probably will never be interested in this game. But I know this is a big hit for a lot of people. They're very excited for Kingdom Hearts, and yeah. So you know that I guess that's, you know, cool. You know, whatever. Just gonna skip on here now. We're just gonna skip to the next thing. Then we got some Sea of Thieves DLC. Now I did not play Sea of Thieves when it was free, or I don't have a Microsoft or Xbox, you know, whatever. So, and I really want to play Sea of Thieves. I really did, because I'm a huge fan of, you know, pirate, like stuff, like, you know, Captain Diamond in my name. It's supposed to be very pirate related. I was very pirate related when I played some games. And I just like pirate materials and, you know, concepts and stuff. And I, you know, watched Pirates of the Caribbean movies as a child. So when I heard about Sea of Thieves, I was very excited for it. But apparently it's only 4-player, or yeah, it's only 4-player. So I didn't get to really play with the guys, and so yeah, I kind of just left. I wasn't really interested in the game. But a lot of the DLC trailers look very well made, look very exciting. I imagine for a lot of people, it's going to be an exciting journey for a lot of people. It's got some skull, it's got some dead people and stuff. Looks very exciting. The next game, which was Battlefield again, we're not even going to talk about that because no one cares about Battlefield. That was mentioned already at EA. The next Horizon, car game was announced, and this was the only game that they actually showed, quote unquote, gameplay. Now, what I mean by that is, after the trailer, just them driving, and apparently their main selling point is the fact that they have weather mechanics in it, which I don't understand, but okay. So anyways, they're talking about it and everything, and they have a fully in-depth look at it, and everyone has the same, just looking at the same car, at the same thing, and I'm just like, why? I don't understand. It's the same. So I'm pretty sure that the whole thing, right, the whole game, the whole thing was already staged. It wasn't played by actual people. They just got them on stage just to show them this stupid trailer. So yeah. But that's what upset me about that, is that these people weren't even really playing. They were just sitting there, just acting like they were playing the game, I guess. I don't care. Also, during when it was autumn, they were dropping a bunch of leaves on people, which I'm sure was very well appreciated and very well received with the people. No problems with getting with those out of their clothes. So, thankfully the car trailer ended after that. Looks pretty, it looks fine, but I'm just not interested in it, so, yeah. Next, more leaves were dropping while they were doing this, and then they were talking about Microsoft Studios. Now, this was one of the parts that I did not fully understand, which TV later told me what it was about. They acquired a bunch of other studios, other developers, to their studio, Microsoft Studio thing. I have no idea what it fully is about, so I pretty much just skipped over it. I just didn't care. The next game that they showed was We Happy Few. This game has been shown about 5 billion times. It's been released 5 billion times. I get the concept of it, but I don't understand why it's been shown or has been kind of been the same game, or what. I don't understand. Like I thought it was released, but then it's not released or something. I don't fully get it. So it was very hard for me to grasp with the game, but it looks very interesting. So that's cool. Next, they showed PUBG, which I don't give a damn about, so we're gonna skip over that. The next thing that they showed here, my theme will load in time. Apparently, it really wants me to see PUBG. Apparently, I've disrespected the PUBG gods or whatever, and yeah, micro. Oh, here we go. Here it is. Here's the Microsoft conference. That way we could just, talk about that. Oh yeah, then they showed an anime game, Tales of Vespia Definitive Edition. I don't know if it's a remake of some sort or if it's an already known series. I have no idea. I don't. Like I said, I don't know. I couldn't tell you what it was about. And since I'm not really too much into anime, it just didn't really appeal to me. The next thing that was shown was The Division 2, which was a big surprise because I know that game did not do very well. Really, it was not very well received with a lot of people. It was in that sort of MMO grindy style, just, made no sense of why a beanie was more powerful than a helmet, or, in that sort of aspect. Guns did barely any damage. It took someone about an hour just to kill one of the bosses with friends, and hopefully they fix the game. Again, I do not care for it. It looks cool, but again, I don't care for it. They did one of their cringy trailers again that they usually do. Ubisoft, like Tom Clancy's, Rainbow Six. They made it all like, oh look, they're talking, they're real people. Just stuff that I know a lot of people just did not like or thought was cringe. The next thing they brought on board was some sort of game pass where it was like you pay a monthly service and you could play a bunch of games. Something like that. I don't know if it's going to do well. Yeah. And then they also introduced fast start, like 2 times faster. I don't know if that means like you can start your game faster or whatever, but that's a thing, so that wasn't very interesting to me. So after that, she presented the theme very well, I guess. She seemed very nice, but it just did not seem like just didn't seem interesting. Oh, and this was the part where they showed all of the indie games. Now, the reason why I went over to YouTube for this is because I'm going to slow these down. Because a lot of people were probably will imagine that, oh, the only Royale games they announced were from what's its face, the EA conference with Battlefield. That's not entirely true. They did release a Battle Royale game during the Xbox conference, which I'll hopefully speed up a bit here. Come on. They're talking about like games that are available on the thing, and I don't care. I'm making this stream 2 times faster. Okay, here we go. Alright, so then we're gonna slow it down here. So amazing creators, breaking boundaries, look like very interesting games, expanding horizons. First game was Outer Wilds. Looks like a very, I will say, No Man's Sky, sort of Explore Worlds-esque. After Party, very demon, very weird kind of game that I don't understand. Looks fun. Kingdom 2 Crowns looks very interesting. Very side-scrolling, warrior, whatever, like, game. Then they released the Golf Club 2019 featuring, or something crap. Warhammer, Vermintide 2. Fringe Wars was also there, like a bunch of games below. Looks very interesting. Let's see, where's the next game? Some Blades game where it seems like medieval and you kill things. Viking or something, I don't know, Awakening, I don't know. That looked very interesting. Reg, I probably got that name wrong, but seems very interesting. Seems very, from the images, if I can get to it again. If I can find it again, because I'm, at a very slow pace here for the video, so. Again, like I was going to try and talk about everything I can. But yeah, it looks like it's an ancient, epic, apparently. It explores, like, old ruins and stuff. Looks very interesting. Super Meat Boy Forever, probably just like an extension to the Super Meat Boy franchise. Planet Alpha, some sort of space side-scrolling game. Islands of Nin. This is the Battle Royale game that I was talking about. Seems to be very futuristic. It has Battle Royale in the name, so they pretty much announced a Battle Royale there, but it wasn't the main topic. They were trying to get all the indies out of the way so they could get to the main course. So that's why a lot of people probably missed it, but it is there. It is a Battle Royale. So now we can kind of speed things up a bit, maybe. Sable, we'll be talking about that later. One of the conferences looked very interesting. Halibut, handmade adventure game, looked very claymation. Bomber Crew, some sort of plane combat game. Children of Morta looks very top-down, roguelike, maybe type game. The Wind Road, I don't even know what this game is. Looks like Skyrim something, and then Wargroove looks like a I don't know what the heck that is. Generation Zero looks like another survival game that probably will not do very well because they did not show it. Dead Cells, I've heard, is a very popular side-scroller Castlevania-esque game. Ashin something, I don't know what that is, but was very interesting. And then they got to probably they got to Tomb Raider. And honestly, Tomb Raider didn't really I played like the first few bits of Tomb Raider, the first game. Personally, it doesn't appeal to me. It's very puzzly and stuff. It reminds me of Uncharted, but just more puzzles and stuff. I'm not a huge fan of. But yeah, the story is that Laura sets free some demons, and she now has to kill the guy to stop it or something. I'm not entirely sure how the story is working out here, because it seems like Laura is the bad guy here, but I could be wrong. So yeah, moving on from that, they had Skate 4, or some sort of skating game. Kind of cool, I guess. And then they had some sort of an RPG. Can't remember the name of it. It should be coming up here in a second. Black Desert. Not really interesting towards me. And then I think, yes, this is where they showed the very exciting, everybody's excited. Everybody is excited for this game, if I remember correctly. This is the game, right? Yeah, this is the game. This game, the game that I'm talking about would be Devil May Cry. This series has been very popular. It's gotten a few hiccups recently with some prequel-esque games that a lot of the fan base wasn't a huge fan of, but some were. But it was Devil May Cry, and people were excited about it, and yeah. And I was very excited to see it, actually. If I can go back to the YouTube, or not the YouTube, the stream here, you can probably get my reaction from it here. Here's the reaction. Oh, what the heck is? Oh my God! What the balls is this? As you can see, I'm very vocal with words. What the balls is this?
It's
Capcom.
Please tell me it's on a 50th alien invasion.
I'm gonna bet it's Resident Evil. Oh, it's Devil May Cry!
Nice.
Oh my God, we got another Devil May Cry game. Jesus.
Hey, honey, need assistance?
Nice.
You look alright. Yeah. Anyways, I knew that was gonna go in anyways. There were, by the way, for anybody, I probably should have had that at the first, I'll probably make a little video, I don't know, something like that. Anyways, I did say a lot of stuff during these that I might not be as proud of now. I was very tired and I was very sad during some of these. But yeah, I was very surprised with this Devil May Cry game, mainly because I know Devil May Cry has had a lot of hiccups. Wasn't really talked about being made, not that I know of, but I know a lot of people are excited for this game. And it was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But then they, at the end of it, they had this character, which is Dante. I know that, which I'm like, oh, okay, it's, Dante. But then at the end of the trailer, they had some guy on a motorcycle, and which looked like other Dante, something like that. I don't know. It's I think another Dante. But then they brought up the guys who are making the game, and they seem very, very excited for it. I'm very happy for these developers. I know that they really want to make the best Devil May Cry game they can, and I hope it works out well. After that came a Cuphead DLC. I was very pissed off at this because I was hoping for some online multiplayer, which seems to not be showing up now. not that I do not like Cuphead, I very much do enjoy the game. I think it's a wonderful game, and you know, I've always enjoyed cartoonish art. I mean, it's a wonderful looking game. You know what I mean? It's beautiful looking. It's amazing the fact that they can, you know, work on this game. I was just sad that they aren't going to release, you know, some online multiplayer. Maybe they will not with the DLC, but when it comes out, which is coming in 2019, because they're probably still working on it. The next game to be shown was this cute little fox game. Seems very Zelda-esque. I was very excited, as you can see here.
Is that Zelda?
Oh, he's cutting the. Oh, he's in a little. He just robbed a man. I was very. I found the fox character very cute. It was very cute to see. That game called Tunic. Looked very cute, very interesting. Hope it does well. The next thing to come out was this game. This game was very interesting to find out. It is a anime crossover game. I think it's called Jump Force, if I remember correctly. And it has Naruto. It has the guy from One Piece, if I remember the name of the anime. And Dragon Ball. At the end of the trailer, I was very confused of who it was. Hold on, let me see if I can get my reaction in there. World premiere.
Nice.
It looks like crap.
Separate from our own.
I mean, I was very
Where
confused.
The impossible is reality. They consist of both good and evil.
I'm gonna call it right now.
These worlds were never meant to meet.
This is based on that anime.
But things have changed.
What anime?
This is based on the.
Oh, that anime.
They have
You know what I'm talking about, like the pirate
to
one?
merge as
Yeah,
one.
that
Oh,
one.
that's. Oh my God!
And our
It's
last
Smash Anime.
are the
That's what it is.
heroes
Oh my
who
God.
only
Oh
have
my.
Where's
God.
Spike Spiegel? Where's Spike Spiegel? Come on.
survive.
Yeah, I was very focused on Spike being a character in the game, which I don't know if they actually have Spike Spiegel in the game, but it's pretty much looking like a Smash anime, a better version of the because remember there was another game that was like trying to be Smash but with anime, but this seems to be. Sorry, I had to pet my kitty. This seems to be the proper. There was some gameplay shown, not on stream. It was part of the pre-show. It looked very interesting. Of course, there is some gameplay elements, but I thought it was from the trailer. But looked very interesting. I'm very excited. I'm not a huge anime person. I'm hoping that they might have Spike Spiegel because that'll probably be my main. Because I love Spike Spiegel. He's my favorite character of anime. But yeah, Jump Force. Very excited for this game. And the end of the trailer actually was Death Note, which I had not known because I never watched Death Note. But seemed very interesting as well. The next game, which was very, very confusing. Very confusing. I'm going to play some audio of this. Assassin's Creed, but then it's like Dying Light? But like, what is this? Yeah, I thought it was...
Assassin's Creed.
I called it was Dying
Modern
Light.
Life.
I was really good at calling things, I've noticed.
They're going modern.
It's first person, so that's definitely not Assassin's Creed.
Maybe it's Mirror's
These
Edge.
choices we take to survive
This doesn't look like Mirror's Edge.
create the world
But
to come.
Your choices, your world, your penis.
You know the drill. Get to the nearest safe house and wait until dawn. Good night.
Until dawn.
Good luck.
Until dawn 2. Oh yeah, then they're gonna show something here. Oh, it's that's for later. But yeah, and they have like a zombie like crying out and everything. Hold on, I could probably play it. Dying Light. I called it. I called it.
Bye.
I called it. I'm so good at calling. Which I was very confused. I will say in those very moments I was somewhat very confused the fact that they made a Dying Light 2. Because because I remember that Techland was doing an unannounced, like a unreleased announcement during this conference. I was still unsure of what it was. I knew that they made the Dead Rising, the Dead Island. Sorry, pardon me, and the Dying Light series. But I was very confused. At the beginning, I wasn't sure if it was Techland or not. I don't know. But then when I saw it was Dying Light, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't think it did very well, but honestly, looking at it, this is probably the only zombie game successor from Dying Light and the Dead Island series they're probably going to see, due to Dead Island 2 still being in development hell or canceled at this point. Looked very interesting. It had some gameplay elements. I mean, it looks like the same game, but still interesting. It seems to be very more, I don't know, it seems to be less zombie oriented in a weird way. Like, there are I know that there's some zombies in it, but how the world building works and how that they've already kind of like set up a civilization seems to indicate that it's more than just about zombies, which seems very interesting. But then they have some choice elements that seem also very interesting. Also, they kicked someone off a roof, which was kind of cool. Even if that was pre-rendered or not, I don't know. But yeah, it was probably pre-rendered. Anyways, seemed like a very interesting concept. Probably something I won't play at launch, or at least for a while. But I will definitely try and pick it up when I can. Seems like a very interesting game. Next game that was announced was Battletoads, which I've never played a Battletoads game, but I know a lot of people were excited for it. Moving on from that, Square Enix announced another game there. Was Just Cause, what I thought was 4, but it was actually 3, even though I thought 3 was already announced, but it was some DLC stuff, so that was very interesting. Moving on from that was the Gears. I'm like, the Gears tease was good. Let me just play some audio for you.
But in the middle of the sea, it was.
Oh, Gears of War. I called it again. Oh, it's a pop figure. It's a little pop figure. Which I imagine a lot of people right now were very pissed off, because I know a lot of people who love the Gears of War franchise. I've never played it, so I can't really say how I feel about it. So, but when I say later in this piece that, man, I got seriously baited. They released the showed the pop figure weird, like some mobile game, which I'm hoping that more pop games come out, because that'll be fun, because I actually like the pop figures. But I'm gonna play some more of the audio for you. Aww.
Okay. It's obviously gonna be Gears of War, like.
It's little pop figures.
Could you imagine, like, who could just start making games?
Wait, it's a game? Oh my god, they just baited so many people. Yeah. So, I said that, and then they came out with Gears of War Tactics, which I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. I understand that, I know a lot of people like the kind of XCOM, real-time strategy. I'm not a huge fan of our, real-time strategy, but I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. But then they actually did, announce Gears of War 5 and actually did show some, show them a trailer. So they got what they wanted, but I was just like, wow, a lot of people just got seriously baited. Like, really baited. Oh, hold on. Oh, yeah, there was like some sort of kitchen scene or something, I can't remember. And they brought an end to the conference, except for one little neat thing that they did at the end, which everybody knows at this point probably, which I was very confused about.
Everywhere you want to play.
Okay.
We are making one of our. So choose the games you want to play.
I can try.
Heroes to be made. and legends to
I might still buy them on PC though,
Together.
but I'll try.
Thanks, and have a great evening.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh. And so this was released. This is the Cyberpunk 2077, if I remember correctly. This has been worked on by CD Projekt, the same people who made such games as everybody knows, The Witcher. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this game, and it looks damn good. Damn good. Just from the presentation that he's shown, the trailer, it looks just nice. Even though I know it's a trailer, I'm very interested in the world. I do like, punk is not one of my favorite music genres, or anything really. But I do like cyber, I do like futuristic, stuff like that. I'm very interested. And seems like a fun game, seems to have that very kind of like what is that movie franchise that I can't remember at the current time because I'm very confused with life. It was a recent movie with Harrison Ford and Ryan Gosling. It was Blade Runner, that one. Blade Runner. It reminds me of Blade Runner. And so then they recapped all the games that they showed, and honestly, like I said, I was very happy with what they showed. Gameplay was the only problem. And like I said, I was mainly excited for Fallout. There were a few games in there that was like, oh, okay, that's nice, or oh, okay, I'll try that. But the main games that I think I will try are mainly Dying Light 2 and Cyberpunk. Now, I do have time to say Fallout because it's part of the next conference that we got as we go to the video clips here. But overall, I think it was a very good, well-presented, well-crafted event, or stream, however you want to pronounce it. And so then we move on to Bethesda, which is hands down probably my favorite conference, probably the one that I imagine will be my favorite, and I know a lot of people might not like that, but honestly, I'm pretty sure, they won. Don't care what anybody says. Bethesda won. But yes, Bethesda was my favorite conference on this list, and had two games I was very excited for. Now, I say games as in sequels, or mainly sequels, but let's get into it. So we had the guys, everything was going very well. They showed some gameplay. We were trying to work on getting, everybody in sync. That way we could, react to the same things at the same time. They did their little pre-show thing that I just did not care about really because, meh. And they Bethesda did their thing again where everyone's part of the family and everything. And it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then they came out with a little presentation thing here, and they're like, we're very excited, and they're like how Walmart already announced Rage for us. They leaked it, and they had some instruments on stage, which I was like very confused. And then it was Andrew K or DK or whatever his name is from Destroy Build Destroy, that famous Cartoon Network series, or if you're a music fan of him, you probably know that he released an album recently, so everyone was probably excited for that. And I was pretty happy. A lot of people don't like musical stuff at press conferences. I think it builds a lot of energy within the crowd, kind of gets them warmed up, gets them excited maybe. And yeah, we had this, and it was like, it was supposed to excite people with Rage. I did make a joke of like, is this gameplay? I don't know if this is gameplay. So I was like, oh, it's not gameplay. And then we're talking about like how the studio and everything, and they were making some short to tall jokes, and it was like, okay. And then they showed some gameplay, and Rage is from another famous Bethesda IP, I would say. Rage, the original game, had that very Mad Max feel to it. It was more Mad Max than... it had that kind of feel of like TF2 or not TF2. Borderlands with Fallout, but it's very Mad Max, and I'm very excited for it because I enjoyed the demo of the first Rage. Actually, I think it's a very good game, and hopefully people will enjoy it if they're fans of Rage. And yeah, so it looked very nice, looked very interesting. Had some jokes in there. I know Bethesda is probably one of the more joke-oriented conferences. They know how to take a joke, and they're more fun to be around, I would say. So then that was the thing, and then this guy came up, and I'm not upset at him, just very, very sad that it was a card game, because this has been announced several times now, but glad that it's finally coming out. The next game that they were talking about was the Elder Scrolls Online, which I've not played, and they were talking about the new event and everything, which I don't care about. Now, I will say the lack of there was another Bethesda IP that I can't remember got any real attention, but I know one of them, and that was The Evil Within. The Evil Within didn't get a whole lot of attention. I don't know if the second one brought back a lot of people who were not interested in the game or hated the first game, because I know the first game did not get a lot of applause. We'll just say that. A lot of people were expecting it to be kind of the next Resident Evil or get those Resident Evil feels back. But in turn, it became an unfair mess. And so they released the second one, which I've heard a lot of people say was actually a better version or a better game all around than the first game. But like I said, I don't know if that brought back any people to the game. And so they released a whole trailer and everything that I don't care about. And then the next game they released, which I'll just I'll show my little live reaction to, because fun. And this is one of the games I actually was excited for.
Is Doom?
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 Doom? Doom?
I don't know what else is good. What is it?
No, Warhammer.
Is it? It's not Warhammer.
Yeah, no, it is Warhammer.
Warhammer.
It's not. I like how everyone said it was Warhammer, even though they probably don't know what Warhammer is.
That's Doom.
No, it's
This is
Doom.
Doom.
Oh my
This is
God!
Doom.
Oh
my God!
It's Doom.
Oh my God! It's not in the. Meanwhile, you can hear me try and get the thought of hell on earth out of my sentence, but I didn't. It's not in hell anymore.
Doom 2.
Doom 2. Oh my God! As you can see, I'm very excited. I'm so excited. I just said that for you.
No.
Oh,
that's all we're gonna show.
That's an imp.
That's it.
That's an imp. Oh my God.
That's all.
Doom.
Smash.
Oh, Doom guy.
Doom guy.
Oh my God.
And I was thinking in my mind, I didn't want to say it because it would sound cringy, but I was like, oh my God, Doom Guy's gonna he's gonna kill some demons! Oh my God!
It me, Doom guy.
Show me, Doom 2, please, God, please! As you can see, I was very excited for Doom 2. I'm not entirely sure if this is an expansion on the first game. Oh, okay, Kitty, are you okay? Are you okay, Kitty? But anyways, if it's Doom 2 or an expansion, whatever the case is, I'm very excited for it. I'm hoping that it's an extension or a sequel, and seems to be a sequel to Doom. They're not going with the lazy titles, Doom 1, Doom 2, Doom 3. This seems to be going in the direction of their own names, which Doom, which the remake, the 2016 one, which is called Doom, would be very confusing to be called the next one Doom 2. So this one is called Doom Eternal, or Eternal something. I don't know. I can't remember. It's not internal. It's Eternal. What is it called again? I forgot. Anyways, how do you pronounce it?
What's he doing?
He's flipping some belt. He's trying to get it.
And I'm Hugo Martin, creative director on Doom Eternal.
Eternal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not internal. It's eternal. Okay, big difference. Anyways, it is Doom 2, because in the first Doom, it was mainly set in hell. In Doom 2, you were brought back to hell on Earth, which hell took over Earth, and you had to kill people on Earth, which they did not convey very well because, you know, it was very... Did not look like Earth at all. It looked actually very, like hell again. But, yeah, I'm very excited. Doom 2 is actually my second game that I'm very excited for. The main reason why I put it at second is because I know it'll be released next year. And so, you know, I was like, I can wait because, you know, Fallout 76, which we'll get to in a second, is being released this year. Also, they brought back Quake, which I'm not, you know, I've never played a Quake game, so I'm not too excited for it, but I was like, oh, okay, it's, you know, I don't mind. A lot of my co-hosts or my friends didn't seem a whole lot interested into any of the games they actually announced, so this was more so, and more for me. They also did some Prey stuff. They added some Prey stuff, which Prey did not do amazingly well, I will say that. I think everybody can agree with that here. But it wasn't, I won't say that Prey was terrible, just did not do very well. And I have nothing to go on because, you know, it's not like I can be like, oh yeah, I remember the first Prey. Because this is not, this is a remake on the first Prey, or a reboot, however you want to pronounce it, on the first Prey that was released a long time ago. Also, they released a hide-and-seek mode from Gary's mod for it, which apparently no one agreed with me there, for whatever reason. You know. And then they released some Wolfenstein stuff, which I was actually pretty surprised, because I know that they released the episodes, and I thought that was going to be kind of like the Old Blood, you know, kind of a sequel or prequel. No, it was a prequel, a prequel sequel. It was a sequel to the game, but it was also a prequel until Wolfenstein 2 came out, and it was a full sequel. Anyways, and the prequel to, or alternate universe spin-off that they're calling it for Wolfenstein is Youngblood, which is, as you can see, this person is laughing, is a joke on the, you know, the Old Blood, which was the prequel to the first game. So, yeah. Anyways, it takes place in an alternate dimension or whatever, something like that, and it's like two sisters. It's like BJ Blazkowicz's like daughters, and it's co-op, so I was very excited. And hold on a minute, where's the bit that I can show? Hold on. Oh, hold on, they're gonna show Doom Eternal again. Again, I'm very excited for it, but you know. So this is where the part. Sorry, I'm gonna show you the part where I was like, oh, it has co-op. Anyone want to play with me? The order is called The Old Blood. No, it's Young Blood.
Youngblood will be a co-op experience.
Co-op.
Co-op.
Oh boy.
So while you can play it solo, you can also join with a friend
Co-op.
to save the world together.
Co-op. Who wants to play with me?
Resistance is counting on you.
Okay, all right. That's fine.
All right, Hollywood.
No one wants to play with me, I guess. It's fine. It's fine. I was excited for it. And then they brought out some, I think, VR stuff or something. I don't know. And then they brought the big heavy hitter, which was obviously Fallout 76. Now, this game has sparked a lot of unnecessary controversy within the fan base. I will say, at least. It has been confirmed that the game is going to be multiplayer. It's going to have co-op, which I'm very, very excited for. And here's the only problem I have. Now, he has said that you can play the game in single player, though apparently you still will be on multiplayer servers and have to deal with other people and such. The thing that I'm very concerned about is this. This is what I wanted. I want a Fallout game. Same, has quests, has NPCs, has big things to do, and not just like another Rust clone where it's like, oh, you survive in the world or some crap, nothing like that. I want actual quests, I want NPCs, I want all of that. And I want the option to be like, oh, okay, I can just play it with my friends in sort of like a single player world, but with just, co-op, or, that whole PvP fighting other players aspect. So again, I am very excited for this game. A lot of the stuff that they're showing is making me very happy. I'm very excited, and I'm excited. I want it. I really want it. Please. I want to play it. And then they also have this whole Alexa, like, Skyrim thing, which I don't know how it works, but yeah. And they have my favorite, they had one of my favorite comedians there, from Key and Peele. I think his name is Keegan-Michael Key, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because Jordan Peele's the one that, has produced, made Get Out and stuff. So anyways, yeah, so they also did some, some funny, Elder Scrolls stuff, which I did not care about. But anyways, more and more Fallout was being released, and I'm just going to show you a little bit where I was very excited about one feature in particular. Let's just go over to that if I can. Let me go over to that. If I can. If I can figure out where it is. Jesus
It allows us to have 16 times the detail.
16 times the detail.
Weather systems across the map. Each with their own style.
Hold on, it's coming.
Real people
who were first
Here we go.
to leave the vaults.
One big difference.
But there is one big difference with this game.
Co-op?
It's that each of those characters...
Co-op?
They're all real people.
Co-op!
Multiplayer! Co-op!
Yeah!
Because yes, Fallout
It's online.
6 is entirely...
Not co-op, online.
Co-op!
Whoa.
Okay.
No, it's like you're shooting in the face!
I know.
Nah, let's not get to that bit. Let's not get drastic here. But I was very, very excited. Now, though a lot of people are worried about the line of entirely online. And I did not really realize that while during this conference. Now, hopefully, when they mean entirely online, well, I mean, it's kind of obvious what they mean by entirely online, which is kind of iffy, is the iffy part right now. Now, of course, they did say it only has like a dozen people, so you only have like about 4 teams, if. So if you, get some friends, you'll be fine, hopefully, all that. Now, the part that worries me is, still, I told you guys, what I wanted was just a co-op feature, where you can invite your friends, and then you guys can explore the wasteland. They have a perfect world right here. They got perfect ideas. They have perfect everything. If they just make that private world where I can just have... And I think I said it later in this thing, too. It was like, I'm hoping that they have a private thing where it's just my friends. I don't want... I don't want that whole, entirely online, fighting people all the time, I want NPCs, I want quests, I want exciting, the same stuff that Fallout has always had, I should say. So this is why I was very, very, I'm very concerned at the moment, but I believe in Bethesda to make this happen, to make, a private world, a private... where it's just your friends, you don't have to face anybody, you can just have a good time and explore the world of Fallout. That's what I'm hoping for. But, who knows? Again, I'm still excited for Fallout. It's still the one I'm very excited for, and then they also showed some Elder Scrolls crap that I don't care about, so we're just going to skip over that. Then the Devolver Conference happened. It was very funny, very, it was very, honest, very blunt. And, yeah. And so the Bethesda, the Bethesda conference was really my favorite bit of the of the word day. And then we get to day 3, which was Ubisoft, Sony, and PC gaming show and all that. Now, I will say I did have some problems. It wasn't really problems with the stream. I had some problems going on that day. I had to wake up early. I wasn't feeling well, and so for the most time I was not in a happy mood while doing this. And what I showed up on was the fact that they're talking about Rainbow Six, which is a game that I'm not a huge fan of because I don't like the class-based system when it's a SWAT game, not an Overwatch. But oh well. Anyways, moving on from that, they told me that Just Dance was there, and they also showed Beyond Good and Evil 2. Which I know a lot of people were excited for, so I imagine a lot of people were happy about that. But for whatever reason, this was just a documentary about, just a documentary about Rainbow Six players. And then a guy came out on a bike and just and everyone knows it's trials and everything, so people were excited about that. Oh god, hold on, let me turn down the audio there. Also, we were having some issues. Mats was having some mic issues, and we didn't have him for pretty much the rest of until Sony. And then they announced Division again, which looks alright. Again, something I'm not very excited for. They announced some DLC for Rabbids, like Mario and Rabbids. Which I know a lot of people like the XCOM type style stuff, so I know that that's probably a big deal for a lot of people, which I'm not gonna knock on, I'm not gonna make fun of. And then they released the pirate game that they've been working on. Now this game, what is it? Skulls and Bones. This game is the birth, or the love child of why. Was everything from what people liked about Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. If you don't know, when Black Flag was released, it was a pirate game, but with Assassin's Creed in it. And a lot of people were very happy with the pirate bits and wanted more pirate stuff. They wanted a game that would just had those pirate elements. And so they made a game entirely about those elements. Now, here's the problem. I don't know if some of the features you can do are there. I'm more of a board, get close and board the ship and, kill people type of guy. I like doing that. But they might not have that in this game. So I'm very concerned, but I do like the concept. Looks stunning. My only problem is the fact that you can invite your friends, but you can still kill each other to steal loot. That is one, and I know that's a pirate thing, and it makes sense, but to a gameplay standpoint, why would I want to be friends with anyone? And so that's why I probably won't buy the game, was the fact that that's even a thing, is friendly fire, or I should say steal from your own friends is a thing. So I probably won't play the game just because that is in it, and I'm not a huge fan of games that do that. They also finally released the thing that the guy from Lord of the Rings was working on, which is a horror VR game. Moving on from that, they brought in the Starlink game, which is like a toy. You just build a toy ship on your controller, and that's it. And I'm just like, oh, cool. And they were not doing very well. And I made the joke, oh, look, they're going to get Toad or whatever the guy's name from Star Fox is. And then they have Star Fox in it. And I'm just like, so the game was not going to do very well, so they're just going to add Star Fox in it to hopefully make it, get some people in it. And then they were announcing some For Honor stuff, which I actually like For Honor. I like it's a very good MOBA game. Kind of like other games like what's the word I'm looking for? Smite is very close to this game, I will say. There's no difference. It's the same thing. There are lanes, there are classes. It's basically the same game. Anyways, they also announced some DLC for it, but the fact that the standard edition for the game is right now free, and if you get it, add it to your library, you can keep it forever. So I recommend to a lot of people right now, go out, try and get that standard edition, and have a good time. Just, you know, make sure you just get it. Just get it right now. Just get it. Just get it right now. And then they, yeah, they're just showing, you know, some more gameplay, or, you know, rendered gameplay of For Honor. So I'm downloading that right now. So that's why, you know, hopefully I can resume it soon. Also, they announced The Crew 2, which I'm not very excited for. I have The Crew in my library, but I have no interest in the game. Then they announced Assassin's Creed Rome. I'm just gonna call it that. And I was very confused. I was like, oh, this is a new game, but people were saying it's Assassin's Creed. I'm like, it's not Assassin's Creed. The dude's not wearing an Assassin's Creed, you know, signature hoodie and stuff. It wasn't until later he did. And I'm just like, this is not Assassin's Creed. So now we know that they've pretty much given up on going to Assassin's Creed and going to different, you know, things. And I don't mind that, but like, I just gave up on the series. It's not interesting anymore. They just do the same thing every year, and just, it just doesn't interest me anymore. But yeah, so that was their end thing. That's like what they mainly talked about, and I was like, oh, well, that was kind of like a boring conference, I guess. So I didn't really enjoy it. Let's see. The next one was the PC gaming show. I'm not going to go into all the PC games because there was a lot of battle royales and a lot of space crafty games that I just don't really, not interested in, and it just, it was not, PC gaming show I liked better than some of the other ones because they showed games and they showed some gameplay, but I don't, just didn't work out. Just didn't really work out. So I'm skipping through right now, looking for some games that I actually do care about. I'm looking for some games still. Like, it was also like the least one. I had no energy to do anything. They talked about Killing Floor for like a few seconds, and then they released a new game, which is Maneater, which is you can play as a shark and just kill a bunch of people, which looks like a very fun game, and I'm into the idea of it, so, you know, that'd be fun. And then the girl made a joke of like her weekend activity or something, and it was weird. And then they're making a Jurassic Park game, and then a VR robot game, and I don't, nah. And then they released, okay, hold on, wait. There was actually this cool game. There were two cool games there. There was one of them, which looks very reminiscent of like This Is the Police. Hopefully the game will pop up again because I'm very interested in it. Actually, it has like like they said, a noir, like was a noir game sort of. Taxi Parisian, I think. Hold on, let me look that up. Taxi Parisian. Apparently that's not the name of the game. Okay. I just gotta wait a bit. But yeah, it's like black and white, and it's got some, you know, story stuff. I'm very excited for it. I want to see this game. I want to play it. I'm very excited for it. And you like meet different people and, you know, try and solve some stuff. It's very interesting stuff right here. Yeah, I'm very engaged. I'm very excited for it. Hold on, what was I looking at? Oh yeah, Night Call is the game. Night Call. Game. Very excited for this game. I'm going to bookmark it. Media wishlist on Steam. Oh, it's on Steam right now. That's cool. I'll try to wishlist it later. Actually, I could do it now. Yeah, I'll do it now. And the next game was the other game that I was talking about from the Xbox conference that they were thankfully able to show at the PC one. And it's a very odd name. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it has very interesting art style. I like the look of it. It's not about killing things or shooting people. It's just about exploring the world. And what can I say? I'm very excited for it. Hold on. Night Watch. Or night. No, it's Night Call. Night Call. That's what it was called. Night Call. Add to the wish list. Publisher, I think, is publisher. Oh yeah, they did some other games too. Let's see if I can actually find the game. Oh, Sable. That's the name of this game, is Sable. Looks very interesting. It's mainly just about, you know, discovering places and, you know, discovering the world, and seems very interesting. It seems like something that you could get lost in and explore the world. I find that very interesting. Then they showed a few other games that, you know, a new publisher. They showed Star Citizen once again. They showed more and more and just more, and showed a random duck, and it just pissed me off, and Don't Starve, and there's a bunch of other games that I didn't really care about. What they did show though was the Walking Dead game, which I imagine a lot of people were thinking right now, oh, he's probably very excited for the Walking Dead game, right? By Overkill. I had mixed feelings about it. I had very mixed feelings about it. I do think I would pick this instead of Dying Light, just because, you know, it's by Overkill, and I'm slightly a fan of Overkill. You know, we have differences, but, you know, I'm still excited for the game. I have mixed feelings about it. It looks, it looks very stiff right now. The characters look very stiff. For, you know, like, it just, I don't know. It just didn't click with me at first. I don't know why. It's not giving me the same feeling. By the way, it's being released on November 6th, and that's around the same time period as Fall, which is being released November, if I remember correctly, 14th. So a lot of co-op games getting releases here, just like GTFO, which I saw some gameplay of, and I thought, it looks alright. I'm still very excited for GTFO more than the Overkill's The Walking Dead, but like I said, I was just like, oh, I'm just iffy on some stuff. And then they showed Tall Tales The Walking Dead, and it was crap. They showed a cool little hospital game and like a wizard game, and they seemed very interesting. And like people, you know, it's hard to get the PC gaming show excited when it's, you know, mainly a bunch of indies and people really don't know about, you know, it's a bunch of IPs that either, you know, people don't know about or are just, you know what I mean? It's just like a bunch of IPs that people don't know about, or they're sequels to indie publishers or developers. So it's kind of hard in that aspect. And then we did the PlayStation, you know, the last one show, and I actually very much enjoyed it. It is, hold on, I forgot my list here. Here. If I remember Overkill's The Walking Dead, it would have been 5 on this list of games that I want, but it isn't. But yeah, so EA was my least favorite. Square Enix was number 7. I saw bits and pieces. I like how they showed gameplay, but it was just a lot of games that I wasn't interested in. Ubisoft was 6. I enjoyed Ubisoft a bit more, but that was mainly because I could make jokes about it and I was there on time. Sort of. Number 5 was Nintendo. We'll get to that in a bit. PC Gaming Show was number 4. Number 3 was Microsoft, and number 2 was Sony. And it was for one reason and one reason only. But, you know, they showed The Last of Us 2. Also, they had like a little guy on a banjo, and I actually very much enjoyed it. I found it very, very I don't know. A lot of people are trying to make fun of it and be like, "Oh, this is stupid." But actually, I have, you know, as someone, I don't know. I shouldn't say as someone, but I don't know. Lately, I've just been able to appreciate music or like live performances a lot more. And this guy, he really did take his time and he really got in there and, you know, played that song, which I know is from The Last of Us, a game that I don't like. So then they showed The Last of Us 2, and I'm still not excited for it. Still not interested, but honestly, it looks like a way better game than the first one. They finally fixed their damn mechanics and crap. But again, I'm just not that interested in it. Not excited or, you know, anything. So, yeah, not really. Wasn't really excited for it. And then they did intermission, which I was not happy about. The intermission stuff was probably one of my least favorite things because it took out of the moment of everything. They also did I forgot about this. They did Black Ops, Call of Duty stuff. They announced that they were remaking 4 of Black Ops original maps that a lot of people actually liked and enjoyed. So that was pretty cool. And then they kept talking, and then they released a Tetris game and a few other games that I didn't really see there or really pay attention to. And then they got a guy on a flute for a new game, which looks gorgeous. I will say right now, that game looks gorgeous. You can make wallpapers, and I was very happy, even though it looked it's scripted, but was very happy to have some kind of gameplay in some aspects. But my gosh, does this game look beautiful. I forgot the name of it, which it will pop up right here in a few seconds. But it was the samurai Japanese game. It was they had the leaves and 2 people were fighting and stuff, and then they teamed up at the end. What was it called? It was called Ghost something. It was called Ghost of Tsushima, I think. I probably got that wrong, but looked very, very well constructed. I loved the look of it. And then another game that I wasn't quite sure on, Control. I was a bit iffy about. I still have no idea what it's about. But what I do know is it's made by Remedy, the developers Remedy Games. They made Max Payne and many other... they made Max Payne, Alan Wake, and a few others. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm excited. I'm excited. And then we get to this game. This next game. And if you don't know, it's my second game that I really want to play, which I'll skip ahead a bit for people, and also I don't want to see the rat scene again. But here you go. Also, I made a joke because World War Z was announced at some point and it hasn't come back, so yeah.
No, don't be World War Z.
It comes full circle. Oh, that's Leon! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh,
Wait.
shit!
Resident Evil 2 remake!
Let's go!
Oh
Okay,
my
that's
god!
cool. Resident Evil!
Resident Evil 2 remake!
Okay, that's...
As you can see, I was very excited. By the way, Ness, who actually talked about this somewhat, said that it was very interesting to see from the rat's perspective and then, pan out and try and, finally get that kind of oh, hey, this is actually what's going on. So that was very interesting, though. I like to imagine the rat didn't actually die because, that's messed up. So, yeah. Anyways... I'm very excited. It is my second game that I really want to play. I've played Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6. I played bits and pieces of Resident Evil 7. I've played Resident Evil 1, the original. I played I played some bits of the original game, original first 2, the original older graphics, and I played the Resident Evil Remaster, the first remake. And to see Resident Evil 2 remake was so gosh darn happy. I was very surprised that they actually got it done. And the amount of time that they're releasing it is also very interesting. But I was like, oh my god, it's happening. But I was very excited. I was very happy. And the game looks so scary. it looks like one of, you know, it looks scary, so I'm very excited by it. And then they showed a Rick and Morty game. And then they showed Kingdom Hearts again, which I didn't really care about. Then they showed Death Stranding again. And I still have no idea what to think of it. I still have no idea what to think of the game. And this is really the point where I'm like, I'm not fed up with, you know, Kojima or, you know, whatever. But I will say I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, okay, what's actually going on with the game now? Because it's kind of annoying. Also, okay, I'm skipping that part because that has to do with the toenail. And oh my gosh, all of us, actually, you know what? That way you guys can just feel better, or I don't know, hear our reactions before it gets posted. Here's our reactions to the toenail part, the famous toenail ripping part. Oh my, that is...
What is this?
This is beautiful.
Ah!
Pull it out, don't be a bitch! Oh, God!
Yeah, so you can... Oh, by the way, during this press conference, since Matt's broke his microphone, he had to use a webcam microphone. So that was, yeah. And then they're doing this whole little bit theme with the shadows. And then they showed some gameplay. I still have no idea what the gameplay is actually about, but yeah, you know. Looks interesting, I'll say that. It looks interesting. And then they showed Noah 2, which is like Dark Souls, like the Japanese Dark Souls, I guess. And then they showed stupid Spider-Man, which I don't care about. And then it ended. And we just ended the stream and we called it, and I tried to ask them, hey guys, what do you think? And, you know, they were kind of more silly about it and just didn't care. Yeah. So there you go. And then the Nintendo conference happened, and I could care less. I wasn't a whole lot of games I know or were excited about. I know Mario Party and Smash. And the only thing I was really excited for about Smash was Snake. So I just did not care. So yeah, there you go. Those are my favorite conferences. Giving my thoughts about stuff in a 2-hour video, just as long as, you know, the stream stuff. Again, I'll probably try and post the first one tomorrow, and post the rest throughout the rest of the week. So hopefully you guys enjoy those videos, and see you guys soon. So again, thank you for listening, and see you guys in the next video.